What is up guys, welcome to today's video where I'll be predicting English Premier League's 2017 and 18 league table. So this 16-17 season has ended. Chelsea has won the league, congratulations to Chelsea, but it is once again, it's time to predict the next season's league table. So I've got here fully first to 20th. Now this is just a prediction, so you never know what's gonna happen, so this is just my weak opinion, I guess. But let's get straight into it. So first of all, we've got here 16 to 20th. Now we're gonna start with Swansea City, who I put at 16. Now I think it's gonna be a tight battle, I guess, for the next season. It's gonna be between Swansea, Brighton and Watford, Reading, Burnley. I think it's gonna be like a tight point gap between there, especially towards the end of the season, which is pretty similar to what happened last season, and it happens like every single season. The relegation battle, it's always really exciting to watch, but I do believe it's gonna be Watford, Reading and Burnley who's gonna go down back into the championship. Of course, if Reading does beat Huddersfield, I think they will though, because this is made before the final playoff game. But I think Swansea is going to survive because they always got the survivability. Now Sunderland always had that. This season unfortunately they went down, but I think Swansea really got that top play. They got Sigurdsson. Of course, if Sigurdsson doesn't leave, then he's going to be obviously very helpful. They've also got Key. They got Llorente, which Llorente is actually, he's kind of inconsistent, but he's doing pretty decent as well. Brighton, I don't actually know much about, but I do have like a kind of feeling that they're going to be able to survive the first Premier League. Obviously, well, not their first Premier League, but obviously this season's Premier League. I think Watford is going to go down. They're kind of inconsistent. I'm not too sure about Reading as well, but I do have a feeling they're going to get down. But I think either one of Reading or Brighton is going to go down. I think Burnley is going to go down as well. They're kind of inconsistent as well. And we're going to swiftly go past the next slide, who is going to be West Brom, Stoke, Leicester City, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. Now we're going to start with West Bromwich Albion's here first. Now the reason, actually I think I'm going to go to Crystal Palace first and explain about like down to up, I guess. But Crystal Palace, they got some pretty decent players, like Benteke is not too bad, Kabaye is not too bad, Zaha is doing pretty well as well. They're kind of inconsistent, that's why they're in like this I guess like lower mid table, I guess that's why they're there. And then it's a really tight gap as well, the mid-table battle. But I think Crystal Palace is going to be finished at 15. I think it's going to be a close game with Bournemouth and Leicester as well. Of course, I think Mahrez is going to leave Leicester because he did say he want the Champions League. So if he does leave, it's definitely going to be a hard time for Leicester. So we're going to see how Leicester's going to cope with that. Schmeichel might leave as well. I don't think Vardy's going to leave, honestly. And I think Bournemouth, well, they got some decent players as well. Joshua King, who is obviously decent. Stephen Cook is good. Daniels is decent. Borok, like, he's a pretty decent keeper as well. They got a pretty decent team. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bournemouth comes in like 11th or maybe like 10th even. But this is like a hard prediction, especially the mid-table, because you never know what's going to happen. Everything can change like last minute. It depends like if you're on like a win streak or not. That's what happened to Leicester and Crystal Palace last season. They were on a massive win streak, like 4 or 5 I think, I can't really remember, but that's what really made them like get out of relegation, which was very helpful to them. West Brom, I think they're pretty decent as well. I think they're gonna get into 11th because, well, they're kind of like consistently up there. This season, last season they were actually pretty decent as well, but I think West Brom this season they're gonna get to 11th. Stoke, they got a really good team. I think in my opinion they're kind of underperforming considering how well their team is, but we never know what's going to happen this season. No one knows what's really going to happen. So we're going to move on to the next 5 team once again, who is going to be Newcastle United at 10th, starting from 10th to 6th. West Ham United, Everton, Southampton and Arsenal. Now we're going to start with Newcastle here first. Now obviously Newcastle is coming back from the Championship. Rafa Benitez is back in the Premier League. Now he's finally gonna prove himself. Like it's gonna be like a full season this time, so we're gonna see what he could do. Newcastle did really well last season, so I do actually have really big hopes for Newcastle. That's why I put him at 10th. Now a lot of people might disagree that why I put Newcastle at 10th, and I can totally understand that, but I think like they're gonna be kind of that underdog team that Newcastle is pretty good, and especially if they manage to sign a lot of decent players this transfer market, then I think they got the quality to get them near 10th around. Now we're gonna move on to West Ham United. Now last season they were really disappointing. Like at the start of the season, they were like kind of in the relegation battle. They weren't doing well. Like they were in a massive losing streak, which is really bad for them. But I think this season they're gonna come back. Like obviously last season there were a lot of problems for West Ham United, such as like Payet. He doesn't want to play, so he lives in Marseille, and a lot of things happened. The injuries, and the chemistry just wasn't there. But they did have some small bits of hopes here and there. Andy Carroll scored that amazing bicycle kick, and I think this is going to be the season where the West Ham United players come together and actually play really well as a team. That's why I put him at 9. I got big hopes for them. And then at 8 I got Everton in there. I do strongly believe that Lukaku is going to leave. I'm not sure where, but I do know that he's probably going to leave because he did really well this season. He probably wants higher level football as well. What I mean by that, I mean like Champions League or like Europa League even. I'm not too sure, but I think he is going to move to a higher league team. But I think Everton's going to cope well with that because they got a lot of good youth players and their signings are not too bad as well. So I do think that they're gonna, stay in that 7th, 8th, where Everton normally stays usually. And moving on to Southampton as well, they got a pretty decent team. I do think they're gonna come 7th because, well, I think it's gonna be a tight battle once again. From like 7 to 9 up to Arsenal. It's gonna be like close game from like 4 to 6, and from 7 to like maybe even 10. It's always a tight battle there. And then we got 6 Arsenal there. Now they are out of top 5 because, well, it's gonna make more sense if I explain the 1st to 5th in the next slide. But I'm just gonna say it anyway because we all know that there's a good chance that Sanchez is going to leave. Bellerin might leave as well. You never know. Now, I highly doubt that Arsenal is going to make some really good transfers. It says that they're trying to target on Baka, but no way Baka can replace Sanchez. Like, Sanchez is so much better. Sanchez is probably one of the best, one of the world's best at the moment. Definitely one of the best in the Premier League. I don't know where he's going to go. He might go to Chelsea. He might go back to Spain. He might go to Juventus, he might go to Inter Milan. I have no idea, but what I do know is that he's probably going to leave. Ozil, I don't really think so. But Arsenal do really need to get rid of some players and then they need to get like new ones. So we're going to move on to the top 5, which is probably going to be the most exciting and the most controversial part of the video. But we're going to start with the 5th first in the Europa League spot. There is Liverpool. Now obviously they're a pretty decent team, but they are like at times inconsistent, and I think that is really going to be the factor that drives them out of the Champions League spot, at least in my opinion, because Tottenham and Chelsea lately, like past few seasons, they're doing really well. Of course, Chelsea didn't do well last season, but under Antonio Conte, I think they're gonna, win the league once again because their squad is just so strong. They're linked with a lot of good players as well. Diego Costa might leave, but Chelsea linked with like a lot of world-class strikers, and then Tottenham, well, they are the scary part. Like I'm not too sure about 1st or 2nd. I think either Tottenham or Chelsea is going to win. Simply because Tottenham, Harry Kane is just doing amazing lately. Eriksen is amazing. Ali is just so young and he's improving every season. That is same to Son as well. Son did so well this season. I'm really disappointed he didn't get a team of the season. But anyway, they also got really good defense as well. Alderweireld, Vertonghen. They got Trippier doing really well. Walker's doing well. Danny Rose is amazing. Dembele's amazing. Wanyama. Like all their players are so well balanced that they're so young as well, so they got so much potential to be better. Of course, that's same for Chelsea. They got a really nice youth squad, so that's gonna be pretty interesting to see next season. And Manchester United, now obviously they didn't do that well last season, which is the 16-17 season, but this season I think it's gonna be their season to reach up to the high. Like they got Zlatan, obviously. Some people might say he's really getting old and he's not doing as well, but I still think he's world class. Despite his age as well. He scored 17 goals in the Premier League, which I think is amazing. Pogba, he's really getting in form as well. Mkhitaryan is definitely in form. So, a lot of good players are getting in form. I think like Mourinho's 2nd season, it's going to be pretty damn deadly. It's definitely going to be better than the 6th last season. And Manchester City now, I put them in 4th because I know they're like a really good squad, and then I think Gabriel Jesus is going to do really well next season. I can see a lot of potential in him, but I think it's going to be a close battle between like 1st and 4th. Like it's going to be pretty tense. And Liverpool as well. Like Liverpool, you can't underestimate that. They're absolutely amazing as well. But I think it's going to be a really close one next season. So I'm really I'm really excited for next season Premier League. I think it's going to be probably one of the tightest Premier League seasons ever. Anyways guys, this will be it for today's video. If you have enjoyed it, please hit the like button. If you have any other opinions, any of your predictions, then let me know down in the comment section below, and goodbye.